Abraham was originally named Abram. The name Abraham, meaning father of a multitude, was given to him by God, who at the same time called Abraham to serve him. The Catholic Church commemorates Abraham on 9th October. As one of the patriarchs, he is worshipped like all the saints from New Testament. He is considered to be the first Hebrew patriarch, meaning the progenitor of all believers. Christians, Jews, and Muslims, the three greatest monotheistic religions, worship him as their forefather. Abraham lived in the 2nd millennium BC. At that time, the shepherd born in Mesopotamia was called by God to travel with all his belongings to Canaan, which was called the Promised Land since then. Originally, the patriarch's name was Abram, which was a common name in his homeland. God commanded him to change it to Abraham, which means father of a multitude. The covenant with God also included making the name of Abraham well known all over the world and giving him descendants as numerous as the stars and as the grains of dust on earth. Abraham traveled to Canaan with his wife Sarah and nephew Lot. Lot separated from his uncle because the land where they camped could not feed the herds of both shepherds. Lot, together with his family, settled in Sodom. Abraham was known as a man who cared for other people. When he learned that God intended to destroy the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah for their wickedness, he begged him many times to spare the cities if he found at least 10 righteous men there. And God agreed to that. His pacifist disposition did not stop Abraham from standing on the side of former vassals against their Mesopotamian kings, because Lot was captured during the fights. Despite the God's promise, Abraham had to wait for a long time to have a child because his wife Sarah was barren. In order to make it possible for Abraham to have a son, Sarah gave him her handmaiden for a wife, Hagar, who bore him a son Ishmael. But God kept his promise, and when Abraham was 100 years old, Sarah gave birth to a son, Isaac, despite she was also advanced in age. Because of quarrels between the boys and their mothers, Hagar together with her son Ishmael were sent away. Ishmael is now considered to be the ancestor of the Muslims. God put Abraham's obedience to a test by commanding him to offer Isaac as a sacrifice. Obedient, Abraham did not hesitate, although he loved his son with all his heart. When he was just about to strike, God told him to spare Isaac, and he repeated his promises given to Abraham. He also forewarned that patriarchs' descendants would be slaves for 400 years before they were given an honor to own the promised land. After death of Sarah, whom he loved and mourned, he married again. The new wife, Keturah, bore him 6 more sons who continued populating neighboring lands until they got to Africa. Isaac and Ishmael buried Abraham next to Sarah, his beloved wife. The symbols of Abraham are a shepherd's staff, a lamb. The staff is a common symbol of a shepherd, and in the Bible it also symbolizes the power over people, leadership, and the ability to work miracles. The lamb symbolizes Isaac, whom Abraham did not hesitate to offer in a sacrifice. Stopped by God, he saw a lamb nearby and he killed it instead of his son. The unfulfilled sacrificial offering of Isaac was a prototype of martyr's death of Christ.